Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I'm your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And today we're going to hop into our mint-flavored time machine and travel back to the year 2004 to take a look back at the first entry in what would become one of the most successful horror franchises in cinema history. My review of the 2004 horror thriller, Saw, coming up now. Two men awaken to find themselves on the opposite sides of a dead body, each with specific instructions to kill the other or face consequences. These two are the latest victims of the Jigsaw Killer. So, what did I think of Saw? I thought it's a brutal and bloody horror film. It's co-written and directed by James Wan, who's also known for directing films such as Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2, The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, Furious 7, Malignant, and Aquaman. When it was released, Saw had the reputation for being one of the goriest movies of its time, but going back and rewatching it, I'm not sure if it's the Mandela effect, but by today's standards, it's quite tame. Be it we do see some intestines and things can get bloody, it more or less cuts away from the really graphic violence and lets you imagine what's happening, and we know sometimes what you picture in your head can be worse than what's shown. The sequels, however, had no shame and tried to outgore each other each entry and shock audiences to no end. I also give this entry credit for what they did with a budget of just over $1 million. This is our introduction to the Jigsaw Killer, and we're not sure who he is yet, so I enjoyed the mystery of trying to figure out who the murderer actually is throughout the film, as there's a number of great red herrings. It's also interesting that he's had so many victims, but hasn't killed any of them by his own hand, but instead sets up the trials and traps that these characters must escape. The traps are usually metaphorical as well, and are to teach the person a lesson about what they did wrong in life, if they survive the situation, of course. The traps themselves are pretty intriguing, including the reverse bear trap. We also see a few detectives trying to figure out who Jigsaw is and where he'll strike next. All while this is going on, in the forefront, his latest two victims, Adam and Lawrence, are trapped in a grimy industrial bathroom that could also pass for a bathroom at a bus depot or a Goodwill store. They can't escape as they're chained by their ankles to pipes. They have to talk out the situation together if they want to survive, even if they're not sure if they can trust each other, especially as more information about the other comes into play. It's an interesting premise until it was beaten into the ground with all of the sequels that mostly tended to oversaturate the franchise and turn it into torture porn. It's also nice that there's only a couple of jump scares that are actually effective, and they don't rely on them too much. There's also a nice use of flashbacks, seeing what Adam and Lawrence did to catch Jigsaw's attention and how they got into the situation in the first place. If you haven't seen the film before, hopefully you haven't had the ending spoiled for you, because it's a fantastic twist. There's also a few elements you'll catch on a rewatch that you didn't see the first time around. There are moments where the pacing slogs a bit, with some scenes that probably could have been edited down, and the runtime could have been cut by about 15 or 20 minutes altogether. I also love the theme song, Hello Zepp, that would become synonymous with the series. Also, Billy the Puppet, who's become a pop culture icon, is a king. The cast stars Lee Whannell, who also co-wrote the film, as Adam, the photographer who awakens in the dilapidated bathroom and is told his mission is to survive. Carrie Elwes as Dr. Lawrence Gordon, the oncologist also captured in the room, who's told to kill Adam or his wife and daughter will be killed. Danny Glover as David Tapp, the detective desperately trying to find the Jigsaw Killer. Shawnee Smith as Amanda, one of the only survivors of a jigsaw trap, and Monica Potter as Allison, Gordon's wife, who along with their daughter finds themselves in danger. Saw is a film series that's been known to divide audiences and horror fans alike, but the original film is a clever and surprising horror mystery. Number-wise, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which gives it the A-list rating of Do It, and a high Do It at that. Alright, well that's the show. I'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe right here on YouTube. YouTube.com/Westside515. Like the show on Facebook, Facebook.com/WestTruePlaylist. And of course, you can follow me on the Instagram and Letterboxd at West A-List. Until next time, Troop out.